Hello and welcome to KB.Michelle Green. Hey, how are you doing? This is Michelle Green going live tonight. I know it's a little late. And so, what we're doing tonight is we are going live and we just want to go ahead and talk about the behind the scenes of the life of an entrepreneur. We want to talk about the behind the scenes of just a human being and the things that we struggle with. We want to talk about the behind the scenes of our businesses. We want to talk about the behind the scenes of our life. This is KB.Michelle Green everywhere. So if you're watching from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching from, thank you for watching. And I hope that you enjoy this video. So tonight was a little bit delayed, but I want to be consistent in being able to bring to you a message every Wednesday concerning something related to behind the scenes. When we think about behind the scenes, we know that behind the scenes means that, things look one way in the forefront, and it seems as if those things that are in the forefront are the reality of our life. But when it comes to the truth of the matter, the truth is that the things that we see out front is just a small portion of what we really know. It brings me to mind to think about how when we look at how God has revealed something to us, that he has given us only a little snippet of an idea before we get to see the full picture of it. And when I say the idea, I am referring to our actual lives. He only gives us a small portion of what our end of our lives are supposed to look like. So when it comes to us looking at the behind the scenes, we want to think about things that are just totally not seen. It's the things that we don't know about. It's the things that we don't even understand sometimes, but we just understand that we are going through a routine or an emotional process of it, but we don't really see the big picture in full because we are actually in the middle of the process. We're actually in the middle of our life. We're in the middle of doing life with someone or by ourselves. We're in the middle of working on a job or working in our businesses. And we don't actually get the opportunity to see the full picture until the end, really, of our lives. We don't really get to see the full picture in any of it. Most of the time, everything that we know to be and all of the things that we think are just so truthful, so, you know, on point, things that we have believed for years and years upon years of our life, we tend to think that that is the full truth and the full picture, but it's actually not. When it comes to our lives and we think about business especially, we begin to believe whatever we tell people, whatever we show people out there in the world, that that is our truth, that that is our complete truth. It's true about what we have shown about our family life. It's true of what we have shown about our personal life. It's true about what we have shown about our work life or our work ethics. It's true of whatever we have shown about our spiritual life or our mental stability. But behind the scenes, it is a whole lie. It's usually at the point where the things that we are really going through, the things that we are really dealing with, are not as they seem. So when you think about a behind the scenes, I want you to think about just like this screen that you see right now. It's a black screen. You can't really see the details of what is happening in the background. You can't see my face. You can't see my hands. You can't see my hair. You can't see my body. You can't see anything, but it's there. So when you think of a behind the scenes, just know that that's the same way that God works and sees. He's a behind the scenes God. He works when we are sleeping. He works when we are awake. He works no matter what time of the day or night it is because he's not in time. He created time for us so that we would have an expiration date, that then we could live eternally with him. So when we think about this behind the scenes, I want us to just stop and think about, what is the actual truth versus the lie? What's out there in the forefront versus what is really not true behind the scenes? What are the things that we are hiding? What are the things that we are deceiving ourselves in? What are the things that we really need to work on in our hearts? What are the things that we really need to begin to deal with in a different way? Last week, we talked about not losing our identity. So, tonight, I would like to talk about just accepting the truth about who we actually are. When we look at who we actually are and we look at our true identity and we're looking at the things that other people cannot see, we're looking at the things that other people don't know anything about. I can truly say that there are people that don't understand that everything that they see, and even in relationship with a spouse, that the other person really doesn't know every single detail about their spouse. Even in relationships of friendship, friends don't know everything about their other friend, and nor do they know necessarily everything about you. When it comes to family members, mothers, daughters, sons, fathers, whomever, siblings, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So, why is it that we consume ourselves so much with this false reality? I've been seeing a lot of people of high figure incomes come out, and it's kind of like coming out of the closet and just showing a life to people or to the world, or if people are just finding out their secrets. People are finding out their truth. They're finding out that they aren't the people who they say that they are. I'm seeing a lot of, individuals that portray to be one thing and they actually are something totally different in real life. And I just want to talk about it for a second, because this life of being a business owner, it doesn't really change who you are in the sense of being a business owner. If we're looking at just life in general, whoever you were as life in general is usually the same person that you are, no matter what you portray in business. So I want us to stop and think for a moment. Do we want to be a false representation of ourselves? Now that we know that we have to stay true to our own identity, and that, when it comes to the challenges in life, the challenge is really understanding who we are. And then once we understand who we are and we can begin to be that person should be the same across the board, no matter where we are, no matter what type of business we have, or whether we are in a position of being an employee, whether we have a managerial position or we have the lowest tier of a position, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we are being true to ourselves behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. The person that you are behind the scenes still needs to be the same person that you are out in the public eye. Because when there is a conflict, when there is a difference, then it's like you going from being two different people. You're going back and forth. It's like you're going up and you're going down. You're riding a roller coaster ride, and 1 minute you're happy and joyful, and it seems like your life is great. And the next minute you're depressed, you're down and out. And you won't be able to sustain that lifestyle because that lifestyle is not the truth. So when we think about the behind the scenes, I want us to really ask ourselves, what type of person are we truly? And if you don't want to be the person who you are behind the scenes, then what are you doing in order to change that identity? What are you doing to change the person who you actually are? If you are trying to change the person who you actually are, it means that you are really trying to change the person who you never were in the first place. You're trying to change the person who you thought that you were, but you never really got a hold of your true identity. Because if you're trying to change it, let me just go ahead and help you out tonight. If you're trying to change that person, then it means that you were never that person in the first place. You are only the person who you are. You can only have what the person is. In order for you to be, you have to do, and then you can have. But if you cannot be who you actually are, then you cannot do the things that you're trying to really do. And you end up not having what it is that you're supposed to have. So it's really a tricky situation. It's nothing wrong with improvement, it's nothing wrong with growth. But if we're trying to change someone who we actually were never in the first place, we're trying to become something that we never originally were established to be, then how will you ever get there? And I think that this is a big struggle for us. I think that this is a struggle for all of us because, like I said, there's always a behind the scenes. There is always things in the background and behind the scenes that you just cannot see, that you don't know anything about, that are just secrets, plain flat out. Things that are hidden, things that are sometimes it is a hidden treasure. It's not always a negative thing that is hidden. Sometimes it is our true identity. Of course, in God, it is beautiful. It is honorable. It is lovely. It is just. It's noble. It is something that is worth being, praised for. It is something that you should be rewarded for. And it's okay for you to be an entrepreneur and receive money for your gift, skill, or talent. But it's behind the scenes so much that people don't really recognize what that gift, skill, and talent is because you've been believing a lie for so long of what people have told you that you were. You have been believing a lie for so long of what you told yourself that you are. So tonight, I want us to stop and think about, who am I really? And what is going on behind the scenes? Are we actually living a life, trying to live a life of perfection when we're supposed to live a life of excellence? Do we not realize or understand that we are human beings? And as a human being, we're all going to mess up. We're all going to make mistakes. We're always going to have something dealing in our life that is not going to be perfect. It is not always going to go the way that you think it should go. Behind the scenes tells the story, the truth of our life, the truth of our finances, the truth of our relationships, the truth of our spirituality. Do we really have a relationship with God, or are we just acting the act of church? Are we just acting the act of religion? Are we just acting the act of whatever it is that we say we believe, but we really don't believe? Let's test the faith. Test your faith to see if that's really what you believe. Now, I will warn you that if you do decide that you want to ask God about testing your faith, there is going to be an opposition that comes in your life. But I'm saying, like, we need to be for real with our behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is what is really happening. And if we don't get our behind the scenes together, whether we are a employee, an entrepreneur, whether we are a business owner, an investor, no matter what, how many zeros are behind your name, no matter what level of title you own, the fact of the matter is that we have to get our behind the scenes together, and we really need to just apologize to ourselves for pretending to be something that we are not and never was. Pretending to live a lifestyle that we know is not true in our reality. Pretending to believe something just so that we can have friendships, just so that we can be in a certain relationship, just so that we can have, some type of status quo of importance or of fame and fortune. It is time in 2024, 2025, and all the years to come. It is time for us to stop and pay attention to our real truth. We cannot continue to sustain a lifestyle of faking it till we make it. We cannot continue to live a lifestyle where we are allowing people to follow us, allowing people to engage in our lives, and they not know the truth about us either. But we keep leading them down paths that we don't even realize that they are, even though they don't know our behind the scenes, that they are struggling in the same areas, that they are dealing with the same stuff because they are believing that you're leading them in the right way. But you're not, because you're not dealing with who you actually are in your real truth. In your real truth, it may be a struggle. In your real truth, it may be that you don't have the perfect relationship. In your real truth, you might be an angry person behind the scenes. You might be a person who is very hateful and mean. And you might be a person who just don't really care about people, and you don't want to deal with this and you don't want to deal with that. What is your conversation after you go from the camera? What is your conversation after you leave the room? What is the conversation after you leave the office? That is who you are behind the scenes. But that's still not your true self. And tonight, I just want us to really be challenged with coming out into the open about our true self. This is such an important thing, because the situation is that once we become our real true selves, and we no longer have a really big gap in between who we are in front of the camera versus who we are behind the scenes. And maybe you're not even in front of a camera, but maybe you're behind a mic. Maybe you are, you're the person that is writing the blog, or you're writing a book. Maybe you are the person that is giving a speech. Whatever the situation is, behind the scenes, you just have to be who you are. And once you become who you are behind the scenes and in front, out front and behind the scenes, become a whole person, an integrated being where the thoughts and the words and the actions line up in both sides of the equation, then guess what? Then the world is yours. The world is yours to receive. Abundant life, everything that you need, all the things that you have been wanting, all the things that you have even needed will be at your fingertips. It opens the door to the access. It opens the door to say that, hey, now that you are your true self and you're not splitting images or differences in personalities, in characteristics, then now you can receive the abundance because now you are living in your truth. I want you to put in the comments tonight or today, whenever you are watching this message. I want you to put in the comments, today, I'm going to start being the same person I am behind the scenes as in front of the scenes. Today, I am going to do it. I am going to be the same person who I am behind the scenes as I am in front of the scenes. I will no longer continue to hide and to pretend and to fake out the world. Today, I will be different. Now, you ain't got to type all that, but you can say, today, I will be the same person in front of the scenes and behind the scenes. In front of the scenes and behind the scenes, I am the same person. Type that in the comments. Let me know what you think about this message. And let's have a conversation. If you don't know who I am, if you're listening in for the first time, my name is Michelle Green. I am the same person in front of the scenes as I am behind the scenes. I work hard every day to make sure that I do a self evaluation. And in the self evaluation, I try to make sure that I am practicing everything that I teach, everything that I put out there, everything that I'm saying, I try to live by. Do I get it all right? Absolutely not. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But am I working towards every day to be the person that I am? Absolutely, yes. And if you would like to speak with me, if you would like to get in contact with us, we are Kingdom Builders Business University. Kingdom Builders Business University is for entrepreneurs and employees. It is for anyone who wants to further their education on the business lifestyle. That can be internally, you working for a company, or it could be outside of a company that you have of your own. But if you would like to connect with us, you can go to any major social media platform at KB.Michelle Green everywhere. Connect with us. Go to our website, www.kbbullc.com. Click on the Let's Talk button, and we will contact you and have this conversation. I know it's disturbing. I know it's challenging, but you can do it. And I pray that you have the courage to call. I pray that you have the courage to connect with us. I pray that you have the courage to subscribe, to follow, to like, to share, and just be in the circle of just being your true self. That's all I have for tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this message, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye bye.